Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi, I'm Basma, and as Jamal just said, I'm a mental health counselor and a psychotherapist. So, the moment I tell people what I do, the first question would be like, so can you read my mind? And the second question would be like, so is it true? Are you all like crazy? Okay, just to let you feel okay, no, we do not read minds. I wish I would, because I could have read my husband's mind. That would have been just amazing. The second thing is, are we crazy? Would you ask someone that question, actually, are you crazy? So maybe we are, and that's why we're good at what we do. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm really happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm around these amazing speakers and an amazing audience. I would first like you to do something, though. I've noticed all of you looked behind your name thing today. Could you turn it around, please, and just look at the word? So a lot of you looked at this today and thought, I'm not a failure. I'm going to take it out and turn it around. What the hell? Who's telling me I'm a failure? But the thing you don't know is the color red actually emphasizes sometimes things. Even though it has a strong strength to positive stuff, it could make you think negative. That's the first thing. The second thing, I've pushed an idea into your head and that you're a failure, or failure, just the word. And what you don't know is that actually failure is not a bad thing. And this is something I'm going to try and prove today. So failing could actually be a positive thing. And I'm going to try and tell you through journeys in my life how that was a positive thing. Now, I don't have pictures. I don't want to freak you out with my pictures. So I thought, let me try and help them use their imagination through my life, and each one of you most likely will have a certain story or certain pictures in their head. I just want to say that usually when people think about failure or success, usually would think of a dream. We've heard a lot, Martin Luther King or Indira Gandhi actually thinking, and Martin Luther King saying, I have a dream. It starts with a dream. They both probably knew maybe they would fail at it, or maybe they would succeed. But the more they failed, the more they actually were able to succeed in the end. And that's what I want to try and show you today. So, I'm the first speaker. Most likely it's because they thought, yeah, she's a therapist, she won't be stressed out. Well, that's funny because it actually is a bit of stress. We'll take it as a good way. So I'm going to go through my early years. I was in a government school in primary, and it's all girls. And we had to wear a headscarf. And I remember my mom and lots of other moms would actually put a pin here. So the headscarf wouldn't fall back. Because the teachers would always say, put your headscarf on, put your headscarf on. So we'd always have this pin here. Now, when it was break time, what we would do is we'd go to this canteen. And it was like a war zone. You'd see all these girls, and they're pushing, and they're pulling. And for me, in the first years, I was like, whoa, this is really bad, but I have to get in there. And I used to push and pull. By the time you're in the middle, you actually notice that your headscarf is way back. It's actually choking you, but you got to get that falafel sandwich. It was like, well, I got it, And girls can be very vicious and strong when they want to eat. So these were little girls, yeah? So we got there, and this would happen every time. And then the teacher would say, you have to go, eat, play, come back. And it's like 15 minutes. And if you don't, you're going to fail. Your attendance will be 0. This was a very stressful thing for me. So I thought, I have to join that canteen place, That's the only way I can actually succeed. So I joined the canteen group where they sell things, and actually was able to eat, get a discount, and get that amazing sandwich. So that was really good. Now, my next step was, before undergrad, at school I used to be that person who'd always be with their friends, trying to listen to all their problems. It was something I loved doing. And I remember one of the times, in the last years of my school, that I would actually had my last exams, and my eye actually swelled. And I went to the doctors with my mom, and the doctor said, your eye is swelling because of the sand in our man. I'm like, sand in our man, making my eye swell? Can't be. So mom took me to a psychologist. And that was the first time I actually thought, I want to do this. This is really good. And I thought, from failing, from doing this stuff, you know, from stressful stuff, from stress, it actually took me to the idea of wanting to succeed. That was the first thing. I asked my dad, could I please be, like, could I go and study psychology or mental health counseling? He's like, what? You want to deal with crazy people? Nah, do IT. It was the 90s, so IT was like the best thing to do. Okay. Went to university, failed. And then one day I actually passed. I did really well, actually. And I went to my dad and I said, you know what? I think I want to go back. I want to do mental health counseling. He's like, okay. I started that knowing that a lot of things will be difficult maybe in my culture. People won't understand what it is. But I thought, at least let me try. A lot of people say, we don't have that in Oman. Everything is fine. I'm like, we have that everywhere. Went back, started in the university, had to prove who I am because nobody knew what the hell I was studying. They were like, what is that? We don't know what that is. It was the beginning. And I felt so good every time I saw a client. That client would be 0. And he would actually, or she would actually succeed. That was the first time I thought, oh my God, you can actually be a failure, but you can succeed. And what they didn't know is that they were actually fueling me. They were actually making me feel good. They were teaching me. The whole time they thought I was helping them. But they are the ones actually that inspired me. Went on, got married, went to do my postgrad in Australia, just was pregnant. And I remember I went to my supervisor and she looked at me and she's like, this was like near to the end. She's like, you know what, I think you should actually take a high diploma, you know? Just forget about the master's. For me, this was like, oh my God, my dream is to open this clinic, my dream is to finish this master's, and I'm nearly finished. I had all that morning sickness and all that crap, and I was able to get here. Now you're telling me, no, you should do a high diploma? Left the room, came out. I was in the university, I remember I was walking. And you know when you're crying, and you're embarrassed that you're crying, and you act like there's wind in your eye, and you're like, you know, but it's continuously streaming, and you feel everybody's looking at you, although probably they're not looking at you, but you feel that way. Called my husband, and I was like, oh my God, you don't know what happened. I'm not going to do this, it's not going to work. And I think at the time he probably thought, oh God, it's those hormones again. I'm sure he didn't think something had happened. But he told me something. He told me, if you really want to do this, then you do it. If you don't feel you can do it, and it's not making you feel okay, then don't do it. And I was like, oh, that's good. I'm not going to tell him he said something good, but that sounded good to me. And that pushed me, you know, that actually pushed me to actually finish. And I finished. I came back. And the last thing that I actually thought of was that dream that I had when I graduated a long time ago in Jordan. I want to open a clinic. This is the time now. I think I'm ready. But is it going to work? You know, after all, I'm in the university, and I'm under their umbrella. Even if I fail, it's okay. But this is me alone, me outside. Is it going to work or isn't it? I stayed for a while, thought about it, and everybody was like, you know, it's a government job. Not a good idea. Stay. Stay, you know, sleep there, stay. Don't breathe, go with the system. Doesn't matter if you work or not, you get your salary, so don't worry about it. And for a while I thought, but that's not me. I like what I do. I actually enjoy what I do. A lot of people tell me, how do you sit there and listen, story after story? Exactly, it's stories. And stories are what drives our lives every day. And they're the things that teaches us. From stories you watch movies. From stories, his story, you get history. And these people, every day, they talk about themselves. They're so courageous. They're really courageous to come there and just tell me everything. And from that day on, I was like, that's it. I'm going to try and decide. And I left the university. And I thought to myself, you know what? If I fail, I'll look back at it and I'll say, well, I tried. You know, if I failed, I'll just go and look for another job. But if I don't try, then what am I going to tell myself? Nothing, because I didn't try. Now, I'm not going to say that you all should go and do that and leave your jobs, whatever, you're going to fail. I don't want people coming to me and saying, you said that. You know, it's a risk. But it's a good risk. And maybe not everybody can do it. It's understandable. And maybe talking about failure and success is something we always hear and talk about, but it's something that actually happens every day of our life. Now, just got this there. One of the very important causes that I actually continuously am failing at, but I'm not going to give up, is child abuse. And usually when I start talking about child abuse, people go, oh, don't talk about it, it's painful, it's all that. The reason why this concerns me the most, plus mental health, if you're not okay as a child, you will not grow up to be fully okay if there's no intervention. So it's like, you know, when you're growing a really good tree, you need to give it really good stuff. The same thing is with mental health. If you're not okay up here, even though you're amazing in everything else, it won't function well. Whilst the other way around, if your hand's not functioning, but up here, you're like, I can do this, or I'm okay up here, everything really could, it actually could work out really, really well for you. And I guess what I want to tell you today is, failing is actually a way to succeed. And if you don't fail, you actually won't taste success that much. You will taste it, but it's different. When you keep on failing, then you succeed. But if you actually always succeed, and then one day you fail, you crash. So failure is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's negative, yes, but like everything else, negative could actually go into a positive sector. Today, I'm here, and I thought, what did I put myself into? I always do this. But in the end, at least I can look back and say, you know what? I did it. You know, if it wasn't good, but I did it. And I feel good about it. You're an amazing crowd. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here, and enjoy the show.